Ray Stagich joins us. Weather guru, weather genius, weatherman.
He's in charge of the weather.
Hey, weather man. How you doing?
Morning.
Hi.
I'm doing well. Good morning, Jane.
Morning.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on because we have many questions starting with our own needs. Is it going to snow here?
Sure. Yes.
Okay, how much?
Dusting to the south, maybe up to an inch. So we're talking further south, Kankakee, some of the southern counties. Yeah, it's not until you get down into Champaign to where you got the advisory. So maybe 1 to 3 down that way. But right now, if I'm interpreting this radar correctly, we may be seeing some light snow and flurries in a line from, let's just say about Arlington Heights south. Really not accumulating much, but with temperatures in the upper 20s, even if we coat the ground, it could slick it up a street or two. But I don't know. Could we consider it a big storm for this winter? Because this winter's been kind of lame. But if you are traveling south, watch out. There could be a few inches of snow.
Yeah.
Is it enough to cover my head?
No. It's not
Like
gonna
if I stand outside and it snows, is it enough to cover my head?
No.
No, probably not.
Well, Mother Nature called this morning, and she told me that, you might see, listen to Ray. He'll tell you what's happening, but it's not going to stick, especially not to Steve's head.
But, yes, definitely not to Steve's head. It may, especially on the less traveled roads. I'm sure that crews got out and did at least some treating with the threat. Sometimes when you get cold and you only get a dusting, it's worse. There's more accidents, actually, studies show, when there's less snow than when there's more, because people think they can travel when there's only a dusting to a couple inches, and then they can't. And then when there's a lot of snow, they just stay home. So that's kind of the philosophy behind that. But, yeah, there's studies. There's people that study this kind of stuff. And that's what it'll tell you. There's more accidents when there's less snow than more.
All right, so before we get to Daytona, you spend a lot of time in Atlanta, one of my favorite cities.
Me too.
And however, traffic there is pathetic and terrible. We were talking earlier this week about how bad drivers have gotten since the end of the pandemic and how every highway is a motor speedway. I assume it's the same in Atlanta?
Yes. Well, I don't know about a motor speedway
It's a
because it
parking
seems
lot.
like, yeah, exactly. And it's everywhere. And the construction, and if you head south during break, which is coming up next week for a lot of the area schools, and you head down to the beaches in Florida, there's a place just south of town. I think it's called McDonough, and it's always jammed on 75 there. And that's why I like my hours, and I wouldn't trade them for anything because I'll travel at 3 o'clock and I can get to the office in 22 minutes. If I have to travel after 6 a.m., it's more like 42 minutes. And on the way home sometimes, forget it. If you ever left at 3 or 4, I've been sitting in traffic in the afternoon on 75 North coming out of Atlanta, and I'm only going 20 miles. Usually a 22-minute trip can sometimes take an hour to an hour and a half, and I'm like, I look around and I kind of yell at people. I'm like, how do you do this every day?
Well, you're preaching to the choir. When I did the afternoon show for years, you come in earlier, like just before rush hour. Technically, you're supposed to leave right after rush hour, but the rush hour here, when people used to go to work in offices and actually do their jobs, would extend till 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And the rush hour going
here too.
Yeah, and the rush hour going in the other direction would be bad, but you would have what would be an hour-long trip for me when light traffic turned into 2 hours,
right?
Where you could literally get on a plane midway and fly to your and you would get there faster. All right, so let's go to Daytona. Daytona, the great race. This is it. This is the Super Bowl of motorsports, and it's scheduled to drop the flag live on the radio. Here we are, your flagship for NASCAR all season long, except for this forecast, which is heavy rain, 100% chance of rain, 20-mile-an-hour winds, rainfall near an inch. What are they going to do at Daytona?
No, they ain't. It does not look good, and actually, it's close to my heart because this is going to be my first NASCAR race, actually heading to Daytona.
Oh, buddy.
No.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah, so it does look like. It looks like rain. I mean, there is like an outside chance that rain pushes south in the afternoon, but I mean, it is going to be. I'd be surprised if A, they got the whole race in, and then B, if they even run it at all. And then if it goes into Monday, I mean, we're staying in Florida till Wednesday, so the gang we're going with. I don't know the logistics of it all, but if they push it into Monday, I don't know what's going to happen. And it's like just great. My first Daytona, or my first NASCAR race is the granddaddy of them all. Or wait, that's the Rose Bowl. But anyway,
no, but it's nothing but fun. It's tons of fun. And for your first one, I'm sorry for you having to deal with it because it shouldn't be a swamp. But this forecast looks like you could have pulled it from last summer in downtown Chicago when we had the great street race here and just cut and paste it, and you're looking at the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and temperatures in the 50s. I mean, it might not even hit 60 degrees. It's going to be breezy. And my wife's saying to me, she was like, what should I be packing? And I'm like, your winter clothes, because it doesn't look pretty. So I don't know. And even Monday, there could be showers early. I don't know how they would even try to do that. But, it looks like rain for Daytona. And it looks like it could rain all day. And some of the heaviest rain be right over Daytona Beach. So not even going to be going to the beach.
Well, and they said, too, the track has lights, so that it could turn into a nighttime race if it does dry up. But sorry about that. That's sort of unusual. I mean, I don't know if it's unusual. You would know this because you're the weatherman. But this type of rain for this extended period of time in Florida?
Yeah, I mean...
Usually it rains for 15 seconds.
Right. I mean, the winter is the dry season. It doesn't mean they don't get these anomalies, and this anomaly out of the ordinary basically just hitting at the wrong time because it has been dry in Central and South Florida. I do know Miami, West Palm Beach, they all have deficits for the year in the rain bucket, but you know how it is. Just like in the summertime, they can get one event and the rain deficits get erased, and in this case with maybe an inch or two of rain, just happens to be bad timing. That's really all it is.
Well, if you want to swing by Chicago, we have a gale watch on the harbors in effect Saturday night through, I guess it's Saturday evening through late Saturday night, so it won't be affecting any racing here. But a gale watch. So I will be on North Avenue Beach singing "The Legends Live On" from the Chippewa and down the top of my lungs.
Trip just for that. I'll drive, actually, in rush hour traffic.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to change your packing. You bring the same clothes you're bringing to Florida.
I could do that.
That's it. All right, listen, I hope for you and everybody else that we get a window where we can get this in.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, it looks wet for Daytona. We got a live update from MRN. You know, we're the flagship. We're your big kahunas for radio racing. And Jeff Striegel will join us from MRN a little later. He's going to be calling the race. All right, Ray, safe travels, buddy.
Okay.
Thanks,
See you guys.
See you later.
That's a bummer. First Daytona. It's going to rain all over his parade.
Not good.